observation and assessment. Here is your week 4 explanation. This will take us through Friday, September 18th. We're going to be looking at more authentic assessment when it comes to children, observing them in their natural environment. So we're adding that one to our SLOs. There is a reading quiz over Chapter 6 in physical development, an assessment tool, a discussion, and a reflection. Here's the content material. So this is tools to do more authentic assessment and observing children in their natural habitat. And so it goes over anecdotal records. I've got a link to the Office of Educational Technology about the future of assessment and approaches and using authentic assessment. And then this is the Head Start website about authentic assessment. Next, you've got your Chapter 6 quiz, which is going to be over physical development and looking at the trends and the development of children with physical development and how to observe that. Next is going to be your assessment tool, which now we're going to be looking at anecdotal records. And I can never spell anecdotal, just an aside. So either using a child that you know, or using this video provided, you are going to complete an anecdotal record. And really, what you've really been doing is anecdotal records on all of this. And so this is where you're going to be writing it. And so you will go a little bit more detail about what it is that happened. You know, Billy walked over to Susie, who was building a 6-block tower. Billy knocked the tower over and Susie cried. And the whole thing on these is you're really looking for impartial. You can't be like, Billy was mad Susie wouldn't play with him. Well, Billy didn't say that to you. You were just making guesses and hypotheses based off of what you saw. On these, you're just gonna write out what you saw. I saw Susie stack a 10-block tower in block centers. You know, she read cat, hat, and bat off the blackboard so that you can have concrete proof of what you saw. And so you can make comments about kids pouring. You can talk about their fine motor development. You could talk about their cognitive. And the whole thing is if you write an anecdotal record correctly, where you talk about the pouring and what was said, you can then take that note and show gross motor development, fine motor development, cognitive development, communication development, because it's all in the meat of what you write. And then the discussion we're going to have is really a debriefing. We are almost halfway through, and so by the end of the next week we will. And then, what have you been learning? What has been your aha moments? You're like, this is really useful information. You know, someone was talking about in one of their reflections about how they're really able to stop and look at the kid like, I didn't know the kid could do that. Because usually when you are the teacher in the room, you are so busy making sure everybody's on track, everybody's got what they need, you're facilitating learning. You don't see the child off on the corner doing something. And so this really gives you those eyes. So talk about it. Giving fake names, you don't have to use real names. What are you learning about your current child? Does that child seem to be on target for their age level? What's scary about this? And then the whole thing is we've been reading the textbooks, and so this is a place where you can talk about the 1-year-old's social development and how it's typical or not typical. What did you see the child do? And that tends to be on track for all of that. So the discussion ends on Friday the 18th. The next part is going to be the NACCE reflection. I turned them from field experiences to NACCE reflections because this is one of the standards. Standards 3 has to do with observing, assessing, and documenting. And so I really want us to drill deep into what that is. And so for this one, you're going to be looking at standard 3B. So there's the high standard, and then there's 3 components to this one. And we're going to do a reflection on each of them. And so I think maybe there's 4 off the top of my head for 3. Anyway, this one's going to be off of Other appropriate tools and approaches, the use of technology in documenting, assessing, and data collection. And so the first part for you is how can you use technology to capture development? And go back to that one video where it showed a video camera and a document scanner and things along those lines. How can you use it to help with this process? And then with the child, capture 3 work samples. And work samples can be pictures, the actual item, anything that is a product that they've made, whether it's a picture of it or an audio recording, a video recording, or the actual item. And what is it? And answer those questions. Then part 2 is what technology is out there to explore data. And so I want you to pick one online assessment. So we can use technology to capture, and then we can use it to help keep us organized. And that's what this part is. And so you may be in a program that uses Montessori RX. You're welcome to do a review of that. If you are in one that uses Frog Street and you have the electronic compart, you can do that. If you're in Head Start and you're using the gold electronic, you can use that. But if you don't have an online assessment tool, here is Frog Street, and you're welcome to watch all of that. Here's Galileo as another one. So you can pick between the two and just explore, watch the videos, go online if they've got a tool and use it, and think, explain how it works, what are the advantages and what are potential problems for teachers in the classroom. So minimum of 2 pages. And so that's your week for explanation. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the discussion board.